My name is Fraser.
My name is Mark.
And we are the hosts of the geekiest show alive. To the outside world, we're ordinary geeks.
But in the Fab International Studios, we talk comics and find other geeks just like us. This is Geek of the Week.
So with Saint Laurent, gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman, I'm too hot.
I need photos of Spider-Man.
Too hot.
So, you know the sounds of J. Jones Jameson. It's time for the news on Geek of the Week. And yeah, jam-packed, two lots of weeks of news.
All the trailers,
loads of deals going down. And basically, I usually have some sort of order to this, but I couldn't work out which one I wanted to put first, where to put which. I've done some sort of an order, and I hope you all agree. It's sort of almost an importance thingy, but then if I say that, people are going to be like, oh, then why didn't you put this first? But we're going to start off with, now we've been talking about this for ages, not just us, everyone in Hollywood, to be honest. It's a big Hollywood deal. And that's the Fox and deal is finally complete. This, I know, it all starts here. X-Men Fantastic Four coming into the MCU. This is where it all starts to rise.
It's not just the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, though. It's all the kind of, like, linked franchises. So we can have Galactus and the Silver Surfer now.
Yeah,
we can have Namor. I'm very excited.
Oh, Namor's Universal. That's a bit...
Oh, we can't have Namor. But Namor's Fantastic Four.
Yeah, but, like... Universal got Hulk and Namor and She-Hulk, maybe. So they got some characters. It was all a hot pot, you know, when they were getting rid of characters. No.
Oh.
They can do, but you have it in the similar way of Hulk, where like they'll put him in someone else's film or TV shows. Like if they have their own, then they have to give money to Universal, which they don't want to do. But this was really. It was a really cool way that they sort of showed this on the Disney website, because they had it all like, you know, the homepage of the website had all different Fox characters and Disney characters and Pixar and Marvel. Deadpool was on there, so it shows that they are like, everyone was always worried about, they're not going to bring Deadpool around or they're going to Disney-fy Deadpool, but nope, he was there in his Ryan Reynolds glory. It wasn't a picture of Ryan Reynolds, it was just the Ryan Reynolds
It'll
Deadpool.
be interesting to see what they're going to do. Are they going to use the same actors and just kind of like merge the universes? I hope they don't do that. I don't think that'll work well. But I would like them to use the same actors.
They'll keep what works and what's good, and what isn't, they will not touch. They might use the same actors, but I reckon they'll use the same actors for new roles. So like we were talking about it the other week when we were fan casting Fantastic Four. I reckon they might have Michael Fassbender back, but they won't have him as Magneto. They might have him as like a Doctor Doom or something else, and they will recast. I think Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool works on its own because it's that meta character, so he could acknowledge...
That could be fun, couldn't it? Yeah.
He could acknowledge that there's a deal, and he's never been too connected to that original, you know, universe. I mean, apart from what's his name? The big steel guy.
The big steel guy?
In his film.
Cable?
No, the other guy. Colossus.
Oh.
I mean, apart from Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, like, they're X-Men. But to be honest, we haven't seen them in other X-Men films, and there was a brief cameo of all the other ones in Thingy. But that breaks their timeline anyway, so Deadpool can sort of live.
I think what they're going to do is they'll probably keep Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool because that's clever and he can acknowledge it, but everything else will be recast. But we don't know. We don't know.
It's interesting as well because Dark Phoenix and New Mutants haven't come out yet, and the deal is complete now. So technically, they're now Disney.
So New Mutants could be a Disney.
Could be, yeah. It could
and
be
depending on how it fits.
So the rumor, one of the speculations is that it might just go to their new Disney streaming service and be a streaming service like original or only thing. You know, sort of like how Netflix do with some of their projects. There's been a lot of... I wanted to get the soundbite, but I wasn't going to do it. It's the whole of, you know, James McAvoy's Professor X. I
don't know what to do! Why didn't you get that soundbite?
I'm going to keep that saved somewhere just because it's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
Any time we talk about Fox and Dark Phoenix and New Mutants, we'll just play that because it perfectly epitomises what that situation is for him.
Oh, James McAvoy, so talented and so attractive.
There's
I'm equal parts jealous and hateful of him.
There's rumours about him being as Riddler. Like he said, he'd love to play the Riddler in the DCEU, which would be
so good.
That would be well cool.
Oh, James McAvoy.
But yeah, I think Dark Phoenix. Hopefully, it's a good ending. But yeah, it's technically so Disney can do what they want with that afterwards, and it's just exciting stuff.
It is exciting.
Like we say, it's the start of stuff, and Phase 4 can be Phase Fantastic 4 now, and like they can hint.
That's clever.
They've mentioned as well that the first 3 phases are going to be known as the Infinity Saga. That was a big naming thing that they've done, and which will probably end with Endgame. So it's like, oh, what's the next saga going to be? The Mutant Saga or the so-and-so? And Doctor Strange and Ant-Man have opened up the possibilities for Fantastic Four and X-Men in other universes. So it's all exciting, guys. Now, the second big story. These two are like, the main events, the big news pieces. And it's like, which one are we going to mention first? And
okay.
It's the Endgame trailer, guys.
So
of course,
good.
it's the Endgame trailer. We didn't get to cover it last week, but we did do a cool little trailer reaction. You got to see.
We did, and I got something horribly, horribly wrong.
Oh my goodness, it was awful.
At the end, I thought that Thor had got Mjolnir back. He hadn't. I rewatched it. It was blatantly Stormbreaker. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
You can see.
We got all excited about Graham Masterson, and I got excited about Graham Masterson, and it's not happening. There is not. I hate to disappoint the world, but there is not going to be
the
Graham
world of
Masterson.
Marks, like you. The world of Marks.
Just me that wants Graham Masterson in the MCU.
So yeah, if you want to see, if you want to see our initial reactions and you want to see Mark,
they're not very good. We get it wrong.
Get also gleeful. I don't get it wrong. I just look at you.
You joined in.
I go, oh okay.
You didn't dispute it.
Yeah, but I go with your speculation. I was like, I don't want to hurt him now. Could you imagine if I did then? I was like, nah, mate, because I was like, I wasn't 100% sure because we saw like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And then when I rewatched it, and when I obviously edited the reaction video, I saw it and I was like, oh, do I break it to Mark? I was like, I'm going to let him live in gleeful.
Devos.
And then a comment.
Devos.
Which was hilarious. It was hilarious. But aside from that, the trailer was epic. I especially went all fanboy over them all wearing uniforms. I was like, oh my god, that's so hard. Is this the film they're going to say Avengers Assemble in?
We didn't see that much new stuff though. What we did see was Tony Stark obviously survives because he's in those suits with everybody else.
Yeah.
But it felt to me almost like a hype vid, like a recap rather than a trailer, which is unusual and clever. And it's the same as like a big fight in the wrestling world. Maybe I just felt like it was a hype rather than a trailer. It didn't really give us very much new footage at all. But oh my goodness, I didn't know I could want this film more.
Well, I think the new stuff we did get, like seeing them in the suit, seeing Captain Marvel rock up. Now, obviously, we got the hype from Captain Marvel's end credit scene, where she's like, oh, we know we saw her initially going into the building they're all in when they're, figuring out what
responding to the pager.
What are we actually going to do? And then this seemed like an extra bit of that scene where she's like with Thor, and that relationship looks cool. Because then too. Thanos, you're in trouble, mate, because them two are some high-powered beings right there. Like,
true.
If Thor and Captain Marvel were after me, I'm sorry, I'd be like, nah, I'm done. Like, just fair.
Just imagine.
I'm done.
Just imagine if it was Thor, Captain Marvel, and Eric Masterson's Thor. That would be like the best. I've got to get over my Eric Masterson thing, haven't I?
You really have. You could make a fan film.
He's dead, you know. He died. His son's Thunderstrike now, though.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's always that.
Yeah.
There's always comics you can... That's the thing. There's always comics you can read with him in and pretend. Fit him... You know what the best thing to do is? Create a headcanon. So in your headcanon, Eric Masterson does exist. They're just not showing him in film.
He lived.
Yeah, there you go.
He lives. Eric Masterson lives.
He could find scrapes of Mjolnir for when it got destroyed in Norway, and from there maybe developed his own.
Maybe he made the Thunderstrike mace.
Exactly. There you go. So
no one read Thunderstrike. I was sad it got cancelled.
I'm sure there's someone.
Anyway, we've been talking about Endgame and we're very excited about it.
Oh yeah, Endgame. It looks incredible, and Oh my goodness, when they were showing all the people fading away and stuff like that, and obviously it was all the significant ones, I was like, please don't show Spidey, please don't show Spidey. Mainly because I don't want to cry on camera just yet. I'm glad we don't do trailer reactions for stuff like Toy Story 4, because I recently watched that trailer and was bubbling like an idiot, and I was like, I'm so glad this isn't comic book related, because otherwise everyone on YouTube would see me cry. But yeah, if we saw Spider-Man fade away, I would have defo cried there and then. But it was cool to see that, and it was cool to see the stakes that are here. You know, they, like you say, they've showed all the three major heroes' pasts and like where they've come from, and it was this cool like black and white, and then it came into colour.
Yeah, it was really well done. Really well done.
Hawkeye's back and, you know, shooting the arrow with his daughter. It could be Kate Bishop, but looking more like it's his daughter. But then there's these two parallel shots where he's with her shooting the arrow, and then it's the same tree in the same place, but he's alone in the rain. I'm like, oh, that's so dark, man. Because Hawkeye's story got well developed in Age of Ultron, and people like, you know, oh, Age of Ultron's not as good as it could have been, or like what the trailers made. That first trailer was epic. Like,
yeah, Age of Ultron was good, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't that trailer. That trailer was epic. But it was nice to see Hawkeye's development in that, and he's always sort of had that father figure with Scarlet Witch, and you know, he's a dad. He's a good dad. He's a good role model.
Good dad.
He's lost and got a new haircut.
Yeah.
To mixed opinions, I think people.
So very excited.
People are like, with the snapping, and did Cap's beard fade away and the sides of Hawkeye's hair?
Wow, that's wow.
They managed to. There is cool things as well that come from this, because Captain Marvel looks a bit rugged and stuff like that. But there's speculation that she survived the snapping by pure will. Like, she was supposed to get dusted away, but fought it. Like, we did see Spidey sort of fight it, but then fade away. Like,
but then he died, didn't he, Fraser? Mr. Stark. And then he faded
always
away.
Get the line wrong.
I know. I do it deliberately to wind you up.
He fades away, but he fights it.
Double the pain for you.
So there are characters that do fight it, so that'll be interesting to see.
Spidey didn't fight it well enough. He died.
Well, he fought it better than most, didn't he?
He
fought
died.
It better than Groot. Yeah, shave your head and go to. He fought it better than Rocket. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Rocket lived.
Not Rocket.
Rocket's the only one left. Batista's dead. Groot's dead.
Batista disappeared.
Oh, I was gutted.
Speaking of Guardians.
Yes, let's move on.
Smooth segue. Disney have rehired James Gunn for Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably going to be called Volume 3 if it's not already called Volume 3. What were your thoughts on this? James Gunn's back, baby.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, public shaming is a massive thing, and depending on what you've done, it kind of sucks. There's a book by John Ronson it's called So You've Been Publicly Shamed, and this is a phenomenon that's only really relatively recent. Saying of some edgy stuff 10 years ago probably wouldn't have got you in trouble in the 80s or 90s or thousands, whereas now you write one tweet when you're 20, you can get roasted for it when you're 30. And yeah, he wrote some mean stuff, but it wasn't the end of the world, and it is important that he's apologised, he's explained that he's moved on and he's become a better person, and that he's not like that anymore. And the reality is people grow up. So I felt like he was unfairly punished and unfairly roasted in this case. There are some people who've done stuff that's unforgivable, and when you find out about it, then obviously their reputation is permanently tarnished. But some mean stuff on Twitter that wasn't criminal, was distasteful, but wasn't extreme. I think it's important to forgive people, give people a second chance, and believe them when they say they've improved, and give them a chance to prove it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reality is the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff is very progressive. There's a lot of very good female role models in the franchise. There's a lot of great stories about people and their heroics. I think it's important that, because it was so good and it was directed by someone who's that good, that the third and probably final volume gets done properly. And I think it's great that we seem to have forgiven James Gunn, because we should have done.
Yeah, and it's hard to picture someone else coming in and directing Guardians of the Galaxy, because they were going to use his script as well, and it's one of them. I think he's built a family with that cast. Like Batista was very...
Oh, Batista said he wouldn't do it, didn't he?
No, exactly. And it's funny because he's been doing this angle in wrestling with Triple H where he demands a match of him or something. He's like, I bet Batista's had a great week. 2 of his things have been given. He's got a match with Triple H at WrestleMania.
Batista's having a good week.
Yeah. But
Batista.
It is that thing as well, and it's like you say, he's... if you look at the stuff on his, like, it's one of those things. It's if you go too far back, you're not looking at the person they actually are now. Like everyone, I feel like I'm a different person than I was like 5 years ago or something like that. You know what I mean? I look at sometimes, Facebook, it does this beautiful thing where it gives you like memories.
Yeah.
It shows you 6 years ago you posted this, and sometimes I look and go, that's not even English. Or sometimes I put that and go, why? Why did I post
James
that?
Gunn's very young.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, 10 years ago, I'm quite similar. I'm a bit wiser. Probably a bit more jaded. But I'm not that dissimilar to who I was 10 years ago. But the difference between 30 and 20... 30-year-old and 20-year-old me, my goodness, 20-year-old me was completely clueless. Like completely clueless. Closet. Like, a just completely different person. So 10 years can make a massive difference.
Exactly, yeah, and like for some people, 10 years ago, you weren't even born. No, joking.
Well, yeah, some, yeah.
Then that is a total game changer. But no, it is that thing of like, you got to see the person they are now, and I only say that because we do talk about the great stuff James Gunn has done on Twitter and stuff like that. He's always doing these, like, I mean, a lot of the Disney films do it anyway, but like these... what's it called? Like Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
They do all these, like, all these charity stuff, like, involving getting people on the film set and stuff like that. And he's always... And this attack did come... It came from, like... I don't want to throw it and just be, it was a Trump support. But it came from someone who was, like, one of these people who's looking to hate on someone and being like, this guy's so progressive, or like, he's bashing Trump, so I'm going to find something to ruin him. And someone deliberately went out of their way to, tarnish someone's career.
I'll be honest, I have downloaded my entire Twitter feed and I'm going to go through it because of stuff like this. It happens too often, and people don't seem to care that it was 10 years ago. They just take an opportunity to jump onto someone that they don't like and make their life really difficult and unpleasant for no good reason.
It's a huge commitment. Like, I've had to go back on our Twitter feed just to find out what I posted when, or like going back and being like, what was this week's? And I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so many tweets, and I get bored by it. I was like, how can you go back 10 years? Especially with people like celebrities like James Gunn. They tweet a lot. That is a big commitment, unless you just like click on something like 10. Like,
it's a bit sad, really, isn't it?
It is a bit, and it's a bit. And I'm glad that it's it hasn't worked out, especially with the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because it's been put on hiatus, and there is that thing of like, after Endgame, we're not really sure what's coming next. So it'd be nice that that we know, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is coming, and hopefully it's coming a bit sooner than.
Well, there's 3 slots, isn't there? So we can speculate that it's probably going to be in 2022, can't we?
Yeah. Well, it was one of them. It was, I think for the longest time they were saying they were doing 3 movies a year, but they've sort of seemed to change that course with the Disney streaming service coming. And what Kevin Feige's came out and said recently is, do you remember a while back when they did that big presentation that these are all the movies coming out in the next 5-10 years or whatever? And
one of them was in the Inhumans, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was the only one that sort of like got hit and missed and got moved away. Like, it was supposed to be part 1 and part 2, but that didn't. That became a TV show, and we don't talk about that TV show.
I liked it more than most, but it still wasn't very good.
Yeah, but they're steering away from that, and they're basically just gonna, because what the worry was with that, or the thing that came out of that, was everyone was so looking forward to Infinity War that the other film, they felt that no one was focusing on the other films. I don't think that was true. I thought it was nice. I was like, I get this and then this and then this.
I just watched them all. I don't understand that. I want to see every single one of them.
Concern. Oh no, it's like people were seeing them, but in the back of their head, all they were thinking was Infinity War, Infinity War, Infinity War. Like, these films are great on the way, but Infinity War is the big one. Whereas now they're looking, I think, post Endgame is just like letting you know what the next one is, and then after that, what the next one is, and sort of. It's nice. I mean, they've done a lot with Endgame. They've been able to tease us on titles and stuff like that. And before that, we knew the titles of all the films, so that wasn't a big thing. So it helps with their marketing. You can sort of be like, oh, what's the next film going to be? And then they release, oh, it's this character's film, but what's the title going to be? Okay, now's the title, and then you get so it extends that marketing and fan speculation.
I think so. And fans like to speculate and cast their own dream stuff, and we do that on this show. It's ace
all the time. But yeah, and part of this is funny as well, James Gunn coming back, because it's like he's been put on, the Suicide Squad, so it's like,
let's talk about that. It's going to be a reboot.
But I just want to mention the meme we had, that because it was it was the J. Jonah Jameson one from the original Spider-Man, and it was like, James Gunn, you're fired. And he goes, James Gunn's working for DC now. Okay, you're rehired. And it was that instant finger. But
let's not be cynical. Let's go with what we've been talking about.
I just wanted to mention a funny meme, because it was a very funny
I'm aware
meme.
of memes as a thing.
But yeah, so it looks like he's still going to work on that Suicide Squad film, and the emphasis, the Suicide Squad, and it's going to be a reboot, which is...
I don't know whether I like this. It shows an absolute lack of commitment to the DCU. It really does kind of like wee on it from on high. I get that the Suicide Squad film didn't get great reviews, but
for good reason. It had no story.
Well, all right, but I didn't feel it was unsalvageable either. I think a reboot...
No, you had the characters. See, this is what...
I think a reboot's going to be lazy.
Yeah.
It's lazy.
The thing is, well,
and it's defeatist as well.
The thing is, as well, it's like... what kind of reboot are you doing? Because you still got the Harley Quinn character out there in the universe. So you're just scrapping that? Is all her stuff not relevant anymore? Or are you going to bring Margot Robbie back, but bring someone else in as Deathstroke?
There's talk of Idris Elba, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, he's always pitched for stuff. He did this great Saturday Night Live.
Everybody wants Idris Elba in everything.
Yeah, there was this great Saturday Night Live sketch where it was like, "Can I play that?" And it was Idris Elba as someone else, and it's like they describe different characters and whether they can play that, and it's funny because they do the whole thing of Twitter backlash whenever there's a casting. They joke on that, but Idris Elba, it's always like fan casting 101. It's like, oh, pop him in there. Because, he's a quality actor, and it would be great to see him in the DCEU. He was great in the MCU as Heimdall, so why not? But whatever, I've lost track now. Yeah, the Suicide Squad is a reboot. It's like, I'm not really digging it. It depends.
It's James Gunn, so it's going to be good, and I think it will be better than Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
but
it's a weird one.
It's great, but also concerning at the same time.
Yeah.
The DCU is an absolute mess.
It's a weird one to reboot as well, because it's I don't know, the Suicide Squad was never, even when it came out, it's just like, yeah, I guess you could do this film, but as your second film in the universe, this is a bit bizarre, and it's always been a bizarre choice, and people say, yeah, but Guardians of the Galaxy was a bizarre choice, but that was in like phase 2 where they've already established other heroes. Yeah, so it is weird to go back to it, but who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Today, you'll enjoy this, is Hellboy Day.
Hellboy Day.
So I just wanted to, acknowledge that. I don't know if it needs more than that acknowledgement.
But let's celebrate.
Happy Hellboy Day, everyone.
Happy Hellboy Day.
Now, another trailer that came out, I think this was last week, we talked about this a while back, the crossover, Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in animated form. It got a cool little trailer.
It did.
I really enjoyed it. I love these two characters crossing over. Enjoyed the comics when reading them, and just seeing this in animated form looks great. The animation style looks fabulous. It looks like that Bold and the Brave and the Bold.
Mm.
Wow, that sounds really weird when you say it the opposite way. But Mark, what was your thoughts on this? Because
it looks okay. And I'm excited to see Batman versus Shredder. That's kind of like a dream match.
That was my hype moment.
That's an international dream match.
Oh yes.
The trailer was good. I didn't love the animation as much as you did, though. I think I'm interested but not hyped. Once in a while, I don't get super hyped about something. I'll watch it and I'm sure I'll enjoy it, but I'm not kind of like dancing around the living room hyped about it, but it does look fun. I am looking forward to it.
That's my life, that jumping around the living room going, this is cool.
I know.
But then being like, this is really, really, really... There's sometimes where I don't jump around the room and people are like, oh, you're not excited. I just need to contain it all because it's just all going to burst down. Like when, like first time I see Spider-Man trailers or like Endgame trailers or well, there are comics when it was like Star Wars things. I just got goosebumps and stuff like that. And I was like, it's just all bubbling. And then I'll have to watch a trailer 5 more times, and then the hype will build. But yeah,
yeah.
Speaking of a bit of hype, speaking about our differences in hype, Shazam has had its social media embargo lifted 1 month early. Now, this might seem gibberish to some of you, but this is a really big deal because embargoes are basically the sort of bans or like... So people who have seen the film early like to give out, their thoughts on it. They can even do it on social media, or they can do it in their own reviews. But a lot of the time, it's usually like a week before the film, so people can get excited. But DC, a lot of the time, because they've been nervous with their stuff, like I think Wonder Woman had a couple of days. Batman v Superman only had a couple of days. Justice League was really short, the embargo. But this, they've lifted it a whole month early, which shows great confidence in this.
It does show great confidence in it. And I agree with that.
All the social media reactions have all been positive, and none of them have been gripey or grumpy.
I'm genuinely stunned by that part. I mean, for me, I know you like messages from the multiverse, Fraser. I did get one, actually, this week from someone who agrees with me. It was my mate Graham Hay. He's actually our listener in Australia. Ooh. And he agrees with me and says that it looks awful. And how is superpowers, I don't even know how to pee in this thing. How is that the line that they chose for the trailer? Because why would you lead with that? Is that the funniest line in the film? And he's right. I'm genuinely surprised that the reviews have been positive, and I wonder how many people have been paid.
We should have... No, none of them would have been paid. I absolutely hate that, because it always... because it always comes up whenever a Marvel movie comes out. It's like, yeah, but they're all paid by Disney.
No, I am being facetious, but I'm genuinely surprised that the reviews have been positive.
One of the jokes I didn't get to talk about last time, and I'm going to talk about it now because Grumpy O Grumps over here ruined it, was that hilarious Kevin Conroy Batman where he threw the toy and he goes, help Batman! And it was the actual voice, Kevin Conroy, from the Batman animated series, which is a great little...
That's a nice touch.
Exactly. And, they're taking great care in this, and yeah, the reviews have been stellar for it, and I can't wait to watch it.
Genuinely surprised by that.
Well, that's because you're a grumpy grump. And you know what? We're going to have like a grump section. Grumpy Geek.
But it's not just me who's grumpy. I've got proof that some of our listeners...
Oh, one. You know what? Next week, I'll bring all the positive reviews for it.
Fine.
And just like, this.
He's right,
this.
though.
Bam.
Is that really the best line? Is that really the funniest line?
No, because that's not the best line in that trailer.
Right.
There's better lines in that trailer, so they've already done it. So dab on that, hater.
Whatever.
Grumpy Geek and Gleeful Geek. There are two names.
I'm gleeful
now.
most of the time, unless stuff's naff.
Grumps. Grump.
Fine, move on.
Speaking of another grump, Deathstroke has been cast in Season 2 of Titans, and it's Ezra Morales. Not Miles Morales, could you imagine?
No.
What a last name to have, imagine.
It's a good name.
Being like, oh my goodness, it's the same as this... But anyway, besides that, I looked at this guy's work, and it's one of them... we talked about Superboy being cast, and it was like, oh, okay, they've done some stuff I haven't seen, which is fair.
I looked him up, and I hadn't seen much of his stuff.
But my hype for this is just that Deathstroke's going to be in Season 2, because it was cool. Batman was an cool villain to have in the first season, and the way they sort of portrayed a different style of Batman, like a darker Batman, was interesting to sort of, flip with Robin, and obviously Robin was sort of almost the leader of the team. And Robin and Deathstroke have had this incredible history. And Deathstroke, debuted in the Teen Titans book. So it's nice to see him in this. And it's always nice to see Deathstroke versus the Titans. We're going to talk about it later on Pull or Pass. And
I think
a lot.
The actor's got some very serious chops. I think it's a great cast, and handsome older fella. Seems perfect for Deathstroke, from what I can see.
Slade Wilson. I love the joke in Teen Titans Go to the movies It was on the trailers, so it's not too much of a spoiler if you haven't seen it. But they always go like, "Are you Deadpool?" And go, "No, are you a Deadpool ripoff?" And he's like, "No, Deadpool's a ripoff of me." So, that's always it. It's good that we're getting more Deathstroke, especially with the silly version of him being out there. Now, more sort of DC news. This is comic related. We got a cool little crossover that's going to happen. We love our crossovers here. So Black Hammer and Justice League are having a crossover called Hammer of Justice. What were your thoughts on this future book?
Fraser, it's Jeff Lemire.
I know, right?
It's Jeff Lemire, therefore want. I'm done. I just want it. I want it. I want it now.
I want it now.
Yeah, I do. I want it. And you've made me read a lot more DC since we started doing this show than I ever would have done. And
you probably
I'm hyped. I'm looking forward to it.
You might not have seen this if it wasn't for for reading more DC.
No, exactly right. I'm very. It's got Jeff Lemire involved. I assume it's going to be beyond fantastic. So, yep, hyped. Gimme. I'd be very, I'd be very concerned if it didn't have Jeff Lemire involved. Yeah. But Jeff Lemire is my guy.
Yeah. So it's all good. Or Gucci. You know what I was thinking?
Very excited.
There's so many cool crossovers happening now, especially with DC. DC are pumping out. They're always working with other comic book publishers now, and they're pumping out so many cool crossovers. I'm thinking it should be a monthly thing on Trade-Off.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, it's happening then. If you're saying no, it's got to be yeah.
Fine.
I have got a few stored away, so we could get some cool crossovers. We've got Doom Patrol and Batman teaming up as well. I've got one of them.
That'll be fine.
The Milk Wars. It's quite funny.
The what?
It's called Milk Wars. It's It's
okay.
A bit of a parody thing.
I was going to say it sounds like a parody.
Got some Batman and Spider-Man teaming up. Got some Invincible and Spider-Man team up as well. I've got one of them.
Let's not.
Let's do some team ups.
Let's not do Judge Dredd and Batman though, eh?
No, we'll give that a miss.
No,
that's
the
the thing.
Some Judge Dredd though.
That's the thing with crossovers. They're a lot of hit and miss.
Yeah. Let's hope this one isn't, and I suspect it won't be. It looks great. Can't wait.
Yeah. I was thinking, what if we did that segment? That would be great, wouldn't it? It'd be a good, cool... What if we did this? Now, speaking of what ifs...
Clever.
That was very forced.
Segue.
Marvel are producing a What If TV series for Disney Plus, which is so cool. Because these books, they're always interesting to read, and it's always like one of those...
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the Goosebumps, or like, all these different shows that do like different tales or whatever. And sometimes cartoons and animated versions of these have done What Ifs in a way. So it would be nice to see this in like a full sort of fledged series that is, you don't have to worry too much about canon or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like the MCU now has established Marvel characters. I think in a lot of popular culture, like a lot of people know more origins of characters that they wouldn't in the past.
MCU What If?
Well, it's like Marvel What If, so I imagine it would be to do with the MCU because, it's on Disney Plus. It might not be.
I think it's got potential to be brilliant, and they can play with it as much as they like because they've got a free reign now. They've got the Marvel stuff. They could have What If the X-Men was the first film of the franchise, or whatever. And it's I love the comics, and I particularly like the weird ones.
Yeah, it's always
so
great
I think
when
it's
they
got
go
potential
bizarre.
to be bonkers and brilliant, and exactly like the comics, just weird or interesting. I don't know. What if Aunt May was Spider-Woman? It could be anything, couldn't it?
Oh, they've done stuff with that before.
Yeah.
Sony wanted to make an Aunt May movie.
Brilliant. Aunt May. Love her.
Brilliant. Oh.
Not the hot one. I'm talking about the old lady one.
Oh, well, I like all the Aunt Mays.
Hot Aunt May is cool, but I think I'd prefer... I think I prefer old lady Aunt May.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had to pick an Aunt May to hang with.
Yeah.
She was great with the handbag when she just absolutely whacked Doc Ock.
yeah, get on it, Aunt May.
But yeah,
brilliant.
And it also allows the actors just to be silly with it. And I think that's some of the best stuff is when actors have sort of a free reign and just get to go wild and have a bit of silly fun. Evidence, Ragnarok, some would say is the best of the trilogy. I would say that. I think you might say that as well. And it's because, they had a bit of free reign. They got to go a bit silly.
But they didn't go too silly.
Yeah, exactly. They know the balance, and I think that's what this What If would be, is like finding that balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
It should be good. I just want this Disney thing now.
Yeah,
now.
I know, because all this stuff's sort of come off Netflix now, so it's... You know, we need
you
a
had
new
to go
we need
there.
a new form. Yeah, because I wanted to do another segue, because what's not left Netflix, what is being added to Netflix, is Last Kids on Earth. And why we're talking about them is because they cast Mark Hamill and Rosario Dawson.
Rosario.
No, it's Rosario Dawson.
It's Rosario.
No, it's Rosario Dawson.
Who's Rosario Dawson then? Are you talking the one who was in Daredevil?
Yeah.
That's Rosario is her name.
Rosario Dawson.
It's not. Anyway, move
It's
on.
from Daredevil, then.
Yeah, Rosario
Oh.
Dawson. She was in Sin City as well.
Oh my god! Why'd you have to always derail me? Jesus.
Sorry.
Right. So
Anyway.
them two were cast, which is epic casting.
It
Because,
is.
like we say about Mrs. Dawson, she's done incredible stuff related to comic books. And Mark Hamill, this
Yep.
guy has got a packed sketch. Like we
I
were
love
talking
him.
about being in Invincible, and he was in something else, and now he's in this. I'm just absorbing, and obviously Star Wars.
It is the renaissance of Mark Hamill.
Exactly, yeah. It's just bringing him back, and he's always sort of been there, hasn't he? Like he's
He's always had work.
he's always been busy. He's doing either doing his voice stuff like the Joker and stuff, and now he's doing more comic book stuff. And he appeared in the Kingsman comic, appeared in the Kingsman film. He's a very big part of geek culture, and yeah, he is a big geek himself. So
Clearly.
it makes sense that he's in it. And these two, you know, they have their experience with the comic book properties. So yeah, I dig it, and it's another reason to keep your Netflix subscription as well as getting Disney Plus. We're entering the streaming age, Mark.
We are.
It's no longer going to be your Sky boxes or your Virgin Medias or your cable if you're in America. It's going to be whose dongle. I've got this dongle and I've got this subscription in this one.
Right. I'm glad you're talking about your dongle. Let's move on.
Oh my goodness! Now the last bit of news. We started off. Well, we were supposed to start off with a trailer. We had a trailer in the middle. We're going to talk about another trailer to do with Netflix. Sabrina season 2 got its trailer. It isn't even called Season 2. They call it Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Part 2. And this Part 2 looks very cool, especially it's leading off from Part 1. You know, she's still got that balance between the real world and her witching world. And she seems quite high-powered here. And people are like,
Yeah.
whoa, why is she this powered? And it's like, because she's Edward Spellman's daughter, mate. Boom.
It does feel like it's taking a darker path and exploring...
Darker, but that first season was dark
That
enough.
first season was
I
dark.
was
Oh,
very
yeah,
scared.
absolutely right. But it does seem like it's going even darker and more nasty and...
I need more hoodies and blankets.
Yeah, series 1 was... Yeah, you do. It was series 1 was pretty gory, but this one looks like it's taking it to another level, and I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be
Very
brilliant.
gory.
It's soon, isn't it? It's
April.
April.
Which is mad, isn't it? Because it just feels like we just had season 1.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's because I only recently finished it because it is scary and I had to take my time.
Oh, Fraser.
There's a nice Christmas one as well. They brought something out at Christmas, but still scary.
You're adorable.
Very, very scary. But that's the news section done. 2 weeks, loads of news, all spread everywhere. Trailers, great new things happening in the MCU and Disney.
Excited.
I know. That's us. But what about you, fellow geeks? What were your thoughts on some of these stories? What were your thoughts on some of these trailers? Are you a grumpy geek or are you a gleeful geek about these? We want to know your thoughts. You can comment on the YouTube in the comment section below. Join our Facebook discussion group. At us on Twitter. Do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Just share your voice. Share your opinions. But that is the news section done for this week.
Thanks for listening to Geek of the Week. Be sure to tune in next week. Same geek time, same geek channel.
And if you want to follow us on social media, it's at GOTW Radio on Twitter. Search for Geek of the Week Radio Show on Facebook. And to listen again, it's www.mixcloud.com/Geek of the Week Radio Show.